Maybe you can just tell me, for someone importing a car for the first time, what's the single most misunderstood part of the process that causes anxiety?
First of all, is my money safe with you guys? It's a high value transaction. We are talking about millions most of the time.
What's going on your homepage? You know, Croton Motors, you really astonish me. Who are these people here? I'm seeing, this is the director. How many of you understand the process behind importing a car? When you walk into a car dealership, how many of you know what happens behind the scenes? The nitty-gritties of importing a car from Japan to Nairobi, Kenya. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching. Welcome to the After Drive, a show proudly brought to you by Croton Motors, your trusted car dealer. As you know, at Croton Motors, we are very concerned about giving you, our audience, content that educates you and makes you make better informed decisions on your respective car journeys. My name is D-Man, and I will be your host for today. So if you're new to this page, kindly remember to subscribe on the button above there and watch till the very end because we have a gift for you. In studio, we have the experts who are going to be taking us through this process, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. So, grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, whatever you fancy. This is a conversation you do not want to miss out on. Welcome to the After Drive. See you in a few. Welcome back. Glad to see you still there. So as I told you, we have the experts in the room and we're going to have a fantastic conversation. Without further ado, allow me to introduce them. As a matter of fact, I think you guys can introduce yourselves. Kelvin, karibu sana. You can introduce yourselves to the audience, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Diman. My name is Kelvin Kiarie. I am a sales executive and automotive consultant at Croton Motors. Above that, I am a vehicle enthusiast. I love cars a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. We have a car enthusiast in the house. And next, Madam.
Hey everyone, I'm Sophie. Here at Croton Motors, I'm in charge of operations and logistics. So basically moving the cars from Japan to our showroom here in Karen. Karibuni sana.
There you have it. Our expert team is in the house. Guys, how is your new year? Any highlights, any resolutions you have made that will not collapse in February? Any plans you have for the new year? Kelvin, umepangaje? What's your plan for this year? Any resolutions, anything you want to do?
Yeah, I think for me, I've made up my mind that I want to travel a lot this year.
Okay.
And by traveling, I want to travel through my country. Like I want to move around and enjoy the beautiful nature. Yeah, basically that's it.
Travel more.
Yeah, travel more.
Fantastic.
And
As Kenyans don't know our country,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah.
Fantastic. Madam Sophie, what do you have in store for yourself this year?
I think a bunch of things, but the most important is I want to be more intentional with my time.
Hey, that's very strategic, intentional with time. My dear audience, what do you have in store for yourselves this year? Think about that as we continue with this amazing conversation. So, we have come to understand what happens when we import cars, correct? So let's begin. I've come to Croton Motors. I'm a client. And imagine I'm clueless. I have an idea I want to buy a car. So what happens when I step in?
So basically here at Croton Motors, we have our culture, we have our way of doing things. So the first thing is when a client comes in, they are met by a sales executive who welcomes them in. We have a lounge where we normally invite our clients to. We have to share a cup of tea here. Yeah, that's our norm here.
Yes.
So as we share a cup of tea, that's the point where I now have to bring my laptop. At the lounge, we have a screen because you see, the client has to be able to see everything at their convenience.
Yes.
So we project everything where they can see everything in black and white. Then we are able, that's the point where now I engage the discussion, get to understand exactly what they are looking at. Based on how I process the information, I may suggest maybe options that I feel are in line with what they wanted.
For example, if it was, let's say I was looking for 4x4, maybe Prado.
So, for example, if you came specifically looking for a Prado, of course there are several questions I'll have to ask you because we have different types of Prados.
Okay.
We have a petrol Prado, we have a diesel one.
Specs.
Yes, I have to understand the specs you're looking at.
Yeah.
And now that's the point where I take you to the live auction in Japan.
Auction.
The live auction in Japan. So in Japan, vehicles are sold through the live auction where people actually go and bid for vehicles.
When you say people, so all car yards buy from auctions?
I wouldn't say that exactly because there are some dealers who buy from dealers in Japan, and these dealers in Japan also got the cars from the live auction.
So you have connections to buy straight from the auction?
Straight from the source. And I must say that we enjoy that privilege because we are blessed to have an MD who has been in Japan for over 10 years.
That's why.
Yes, and you see, you can imagine yourself being in Japan for over 10 years, you're able to form connections there, you're able to form relationships, you are able to understand the nitty-gritties of the process there in Japan before you come and import the process to your people here in Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, so courtesy of that, we are able to gain that direct access to the live auction in Japan. So we know that parties in between, just us and the main source for the vehicles.
Sounds good, yeah? Sounds good. Sounds worth it. I think that's value for anyone who's watching. So we are in the auction. Then what next? Take me through that.
So now, depending on the vehicle that you are actually interested in, I'm able to narrow down. So when you get into the auction, vehicles are normally placed according to their countries of origin. So if you're talking about a Japanese make, it is under Japan. If you are talking about an American make, it is under America. If you are talking about any other country, the vehicles are arranged in that order. So for example, you mentioned a Prado, which is a Japanese make. So I'll of course go to Japan, I'll click the make of the vehicle, which is Toyota. Then under Toyota, we have very many models. I'll narrow down to what you're looking at, which is the Land Cruiser Prado. Then once I get in to the Land Cruiser Prados, of course, that's a lot of information to process. So I have to filter more. I have to understand, are you looking for a diesel Prado or a petrol Prado? And I can know that based on the chassis number of the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. So we have found the car, perhaps, yes? We have found this Prado. Then what?
Yeah, so after we found, so first of all, as we select the Prados, so thanks to the auction, we normally get a document, a very important document that I tend to find people underlooking, called the auction sheet. That is basically what gives you all the information that you need about the particular vehicle that you intend to purchase. So the contents of the auction sheet, of course, we have the genuine mileage. I know most of the people, when they come to the showroom, they're like, is that genuine mileage? So you can verify that when you look at the auction sheet. There's also an important aspect on the auction sheet called grading, vehicle grading. You see, just like here, let me just use an example we can relate to, even the coffee that we're enjoying. So when coffee is harvested, it's normally graded. So we have very high grade coffee that people prefer to export. Then there's another grade of coffee that maybe is used locally, maybe sadly to say. Then we have another grade of coffee that maybe is disposed and maybe used for other purposes. Same case. In Japan, based on how well you kept your car, it is going to be graded. So here at Croton Motors, we only deal with high grade cars. Yeah, so the next question would be, what are high-grade cars? Any car that has a rating of grade 4 and above, that's a vehicle that is in brand new car condition. That's a car, if I brought it to you, all I have to do is give it a nice wash and invite you to come and see it. No garages where...
It's evident. Yeah, it's evident I can see it outside here,
totally
the cars you have
clean
here.
units. They're basically in brand new car condition. Even the smell is there.
So what happens? So I want this particular Prado. What do we do next?
So after we've narrowed down, we have looked at the specs on the auction sheet and the client is content, very much content even with the features of the vehicle. Now the next step is now we observe when that particular vehicle will be selling, so that now we may start the preparations to actually bid for that car. So at the auction, every car that is listed has a date when that particular car will be selling. Yeah, so for example, if we looked at the auction, we can even see vehicles that are selling, for example, on Monday. So if that's the case, then we now have to start preparations locally. And the major preparations are basically drafting a sales agreement we have to have an agreement that basically stipulates all the processes, basically summarizes the import process for you, and also the terms and conditions as per our company policy.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's also where you get the price breakdown, all that. And the other major process is now the client has to prepare a deposit, because you see,
I was wondering, yeah, when the money would start talking money. Yeah?
Definitely, after we've drafted the agreement and the client looks at it and they are content with the contents, there's a place where we sign, us as the dealership responsible for importing that particular car, and the client. Once both of us have signed and the document is ready, we go to the next step where we now arrange for a deposit. We have two ways. There are clients who normally prefer to pay for the whole car in cash. By cash, I don't mean like they bring the whole amount, but they have the full amount for that car somewhere, so they do not need any external help.
Yes.
Then there is another aspect which we call basically bank financing, okay, or where a financier is coming in place, steps in to actually help the client facilitate the full payment of the car. So depending on which category you fall under, there's a different deposit for either. Yes. So let me just maybe narrow it down quickly. So for cash, we normally do 3 installments, 20% before we purchase the car, 50% before the car leaves Japan, and 30% once the car gets to Mombasa. Okay. But if you're being financed by a bank, we normally require 30% of the total vehicle value. We shall bring that car from Japan to our showroom in Karen, because there's no financier who will actually finance something they're not seeing. It has to be here physically, because a valuer has to come in, value that car, take that information to the bank, and now that's the point where the bank processes that information, and we proceed to financing that particular car, and the client can now pick the car.
So at this point, let's say we have put the deposit, and now we are good to bid. We're bidding on Monday. Yes. All right. Yes. So we have made the bid, yes, and we are assuming we have gotten the car. We have bought the car. Yes, yes, yes. So now then what happens from there?
So once we successfully purchase that unit for the client, here at Croton Motors, we normally form a WhatsApp group. So the reason for that is because, first of all, let me start with who is in the WhatsApp group. So we have the management. We have Madam Sophie is part of the management, and she's in charge of operations. We have our MD and myself, the sales executive, and of course the client. So the reason for the WhatsApp group is to keep the client updated on they can be able to track the process from when we purchase that car to the point where the car is actually delivered to them. Okay. So, and we also felt that having a WhatsApp group, sometimes a client may pose a question. You see, when management is there and myself, one of us can be able to jump in and maybe give the client an answer that they're looking at.
All right, so Madam Sophie, so where do you come in?
So as soon as the bid is successful,
that's where you...
That is where I immediately jump in, okay, to take care of the logistics that are involved, yes, in bringing a car from Japan to Karen. So the first thing that happens when the car has been bought successfully at auction, when it is being bought or when we are placing the bid, the car is at an auction house yard. So it will be transported from there to the nearest port for export. Okay. So for example, if we bought it in, say, USS Tokyo, then it will be transported to the port of Yokohama. Mm-hmm. But there are several things that go on simultaneously at that point. There is an important process called deregistration of the vehicle. Yeah. That starts immediately when we successfully bid for it. So the auction house usually has the documentation for the vehicle, which they will hand to our shipper at that point. Then as the car is being transported, these documents are returned to the local transport office so that the car can be deregistered. So that means, okay, yes, that means that this car is now erased from the records, that it is no longer a car in use in Japan, okay, and also the number plates are returned. In exchange, we get something called the export certificate. This is a document that is one of the 3 main documents required to import a car into Kenya. So the export certificate clearly shows that this car is no longer in use in Japan and it has been certified for export to another country, in this case Kenya. So once the car arrives at the port of export, Japan office will take comprehensive photos for us. Remember when Kelvin was showing you the car at the auction, you may have seen a few photos because there will not be very many at that point. Yeah. But once we buy the car and it's now at the port, we will be able to show you many more photos of the car, detailing all the aspects. If it has a sunroof, if it has like keyless entry, including the tires, including the tire tread. So that is where we learn more about the car as well. So we will share these photos with you in the WhatsApp group that Kelvin mentioned. Now, at that point as well, if there is any customization that is to be done on the car, it is done at that point.
In Japan, yeah? In
Japan, yes. For example, a lot of clients want the car to come to Kenya with brand new tires. So it is at that point that we will change them. Or maybe somebody wanted leather seat covers. So we put those in. Or for example, the Jimneys, we import a lot of Suzuki Jimneys and we customize them, like say we put in a bull bar, we put in a roof rack, cup holder. So that's the kind of customization I'm talking about. Yeah, so once that is done, the car is now booked for the mandatory KEBS inspection. So in Japan, KEBS inspection is done by a company called QISJ. So they book for that, take the car for inspection, and if the car passes inspection, we now get another document, the second document that is required to import a car into Kenya, that is the inspection certificate. So the inspection certificate will show the mileage of the car, the year of manufacture, the chassis number, the engine number, and such other crucial details. Okay. So once we have the QSJ, by the time they're inspecting the car, our shipper is already looking at the shipping dates, possible shipping dates. So once we have the certificate, we can now firmly book the ship, and then the car can come to Mombasa. On average, it can take anywhere between 24, 27 to maybe 30-something days, depending on the shipping line and how many stops that ship is making before it arrives. At Mombasa, it may go via Sri Lanka and then Durban and then Dar es Salaam and then Mombasa. But if it comes directly from Japan to Mombasa, it may take 20-something days, maybe even 24 days or so. So once the car arrives at Mombasa, our clearing agent will be on standby to clear the car. So just to mention, there's a third document that is required again, and that could be potentially the most important of them all. This is the bill of lading. So this is the document of ownership. It shows who owns that car. So at Croton Motors, when we are acting as your import agent, the car comes in your name. That means all the documentation is in your name, and eventually the logbook will also be in your name. Yeah. The exception here is what Kelvin mentioned. If it is a finance car, then that is a different arrangement. The car will have to come in our name so that once it's arrived and cleared, we can be able to transfer it jointly to you and your financier. Okay. But if you're paying for your car as it comes in full, then it will come in your name. So while it is on the way, about a week to 10 days after the ship leaves Japan, we'll be able to get a copy of the bill of lading, which we simply call the BL, and we'll share that with you in the group as well. But by the time your car gets to Mombasa, the original documents will have been sent by DHL, and our clearing agent will have them. So as soon as the ship docks, he will be ready to start clearing the car. And the process of clearing involves two major steps. One, paying duty to KRA, and second, registering the car with NTSA. So once that is done, on average it takes, if KRA and NTSA systems are working well, yes, it takes about 7 to 10 working days. And then we'll be done with the car, then we will put it on a car carrier, and transport it to Karen. And yeah, basically that is an overview of the logistics behind the process.
Maybe just to add,
Yes.
there's another category of clients that we normally deal with, expatriates, or basically people who are duty exempt in Kenya.
Okay.
So maybe Sophie can also share something about that, because the paperwork there is a bit more different, because these are people who are not paying duty like the typical duty paying person.
Yeah, maybe briefly you can tell us
Yeah,
what happens.
that's actually a good point. Thank you, Kelvin. So of course we import a lot of cars for diplomats, like embassies or international organizations that are duty exempt. So what that means is they're not paying the component of tax. So technically the process is the same because KRA will still have to clear that car. But in lieu of having, if you were paying duty, then you would pay duty to KRA. In lieu of that, they have a document of exemption. So we must have that document of exemption, which we will have facilitated by giving them the import documents in good time so that they can apply to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So once we have that document, we'll be able to get the car out of the port duty-free. The only small exception again is that we don't register duty-free cars at the port. Those are registered by the respective organizations. So we will just clear with KRA and then transport and clear with the shipping line, of course, then transport the car to Nairobi. Then we will deliver it to the client or have it picked. And then from there, their respective protocol offices will help them to register the car. So that's how they will get the red plates. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Have you been taking notes? Like I have. A lot to process. But I'd like to start hearing your thoughts on this and your questions. And I want you to start writing some of those questions in the comment section so we can tackle them as we go on. Right now, you can sip your coffee. Please process that, put down your questions, and we'll be back in a second. What's going on your homepage? You know, Croton Motors, you really astonish me. Who are these people here? I'm seeing this is the director. This is a baby face. Sophie, I can't. Why do people have these pictures on your homepage? Let me look for Kelvin. This is unbelievable. Why do you have baby photo? Kelvin, how old were you here? Were you 10? Or were you 12? Why do you have such pictures on your website? Please.
Well, Diman, you can see how happy, look at how happy those photos have made you.
Unbelievable.
So we want our clients to also see us from when we were babies. And even though we take our clients very seriously, we don't take ourselves that seriously.
I hope they're getting to see this. This is hilarious. Go to the Croton's website, please. This is hilarious. You'll come and meet the MD here. This is how Francis looked. Very interesting. And then I'm also seeing photos of cats. You have a very interesting culture here. What are the cats about?
Yeah, well, that is Ninja and Whiskers. They are literally part of our family. Yes. They bring us immense joy. So there is no way they are not on the website. On any typical day when you walk into Croton, they will be on top of somebody's desk, just sleeping or sleeping by the lounge. So they are part of the family. 2
cats, baby photos. You have a very interesting culture. But they will see for themselves. Even the content they post is very hilarious. But we are back, so questions, please. As I've mentioned, please let's have those questions. Let's keep writing them in the comment section so we can address them as we go on. And I think the first question I want to, when I'm thinking about this whole process is, I look at your car yard, and you guys already have good-looking vehicles here. They look clean. Why should I bother importing?
Yeah, that's a good question, Diman. So when clients come in, we have different categories of clients, and I've categorized them according to maybe how they want to purchase the vehicles. So we have clients who already have vehicles they are driving.
Okay.
They're just looking to upgrade, but they don't need their next car urgently. So these are clients who have the luxury of waiting for the amount of days that it normally takes to bring a car from Japan to Karen. But then we also have some clients who like need a car like now. So let's say you've been posted to a new job somewhere, maybe, I don't know, maybe in a rural area somewhere. Yeah. You need a car like next week. So you don't have the luxury of waiting for the several number of days to bring that car to Karen. So these are the clients who normally come and choose whatever is here.
Makes sense.
Yeah, then there's a category that Sophie mentioned, the duty-exempt people, who consist of persons living with disability, returning residents, and basically diplomats. So these clients don't, by default, they don't have any luxury of purchasing a car that's already here, because the vehicles that are here have already been paid for duty. So unless they are ready to forego on their privilege and end up paying duty, then for them, we have to just import the vehicles directly. Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with an imported car has better quality. This has nothing to do with that.
Well, I cannot say
the
that.
Wear and tear.
Well, I cannot say that because you see,
there's that assumption, yeah.
Yeah, if you're buying from Croton Motors, because we are very, very intentional about the quality that we bring in. Yeah. You can whichever you choose, whether you choose a car that's already here, whether you do a direct import, you're guaranteed about quality. So at Croton Motors, quality is guaranteed.
Your name is on the line.
Yeah, the quality is always guaranteed. Yeah.
All right. So how do you mentioned at the auction process before, how do I guarantee that car I'm buying, you're telling me to make a deposit on an image. How do I guarantee that its quality is what I want to see when it comes? What can you do to verify or give me that trust that car is of good quality? Yeah,
that's another good question. So as I mentioned earlier, while we are purchasing the vehicle, there's an important document called the auction sheet that we normally look at. And on this document, we normally have all the vehicle specifications. So among the vehicle specifications, we have grading. In Japan, we have, the systems are more straightforward. How do I put it? Like if you buy a car in Japan, when you look at the auction sheet, the information that you see there is actually verified information. Yes. It is information you can work with. Even for the vehicles that we buy for stock, for our stock here, that's the document that we rely on. So it's a document that has been tested and proven, and it works.
To remind ourselves that Japan is a very high trust society. So what they put in that document is actually the real status.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've put my 2 million, 20%. We don't win the bid. What happens?
For those who are familiar with any auctions anywhere, so you see an auction is, how do I put it? When you go there, you're not guaranteed that you will actually get whatever you're going to get. Yeah. So based on our knowledge at Croton Motors, we are able to actually guide the client. Yeah, and most of the time I would comfortably say even 98% accurate when it comes to pricing. Yeah. But then, based on our knowledge as well, there's sometimes based on how the auction is, competition is normally quite high. And when competition for a certain unit is high, then it pushes the price quite high beyond the point where we feel, as a company, based on our knowledge, we feel that this car is actually overpriced. So at that point, as a company, we make a decision. Because you see, for example, let's say the range of buying a Prado is, let's say, I'm just using random figures, 5.4 to 5.9. We know that's the range that, let's say, a 2019 Prado should be selling at. But then, based on demand, let's say this unit is unique, maybe it's a unique color, a color that is not common, you might find that we have many bidders for that particular car. And you see, when you're competing, sometimes the bid will actually go past the range that we are actually anticipating. So at that point, we make a decision as a company and we forfeit the bid.
If I'm okay with you.
Yes, of course, we shall definitely. You see, the client is depending on us as professionals to help them make the best decisions on their behalf. So at that point, we may forfeit the bid. Sometimes also, we normally look at a unit, then as before we buy it, let's say, for example, we send an inspector to go and look at that car, and we find that maybe there's a crack, let's say, on a windscreen. You see, we cannot proceed to purchase that vehicle. So regardless of the reason as to why we didn't purchase that vehicle, so there are two ways we normally go about it. One, we can retain the deposit, communicate to the client why we didn't purchase that particular unit, and assure them that we shall look for similar units that we can try on, let's say, the next bidding date. Yeah. There's also the option of refunding the client's deposit in full. There's some clients, so we normally give you two options. Would you want us to retain your money as we look for the next unit, or would you want us to refund your money in full until we can be able to get another unit? Then we can go about the process again, where now the client will deposit so that now we may proceed to bid. So depending on what the client wants, that's what we do.
All right, sounds good. So at what point, Sophie, is the car mine? Let's say we have won the bid. What point is it mine? Does my name, apply?
That's a good question. There are two answers to that question. So the minute you walk into Croton Motors and you sign a sales agreement and you give us a deposit, if we are importing the car on your behalf, well, technically the car is already yours, because here at Croton, if you're paying in cash for your car, Kelvin had explained that, it is your car. We do not put it in our name and then transfer it to you later. No, it comes in your name it is your car from the get-go. But to answer your question, the point exactly where it is really your car is when we get the document of ownership, the bill of lading that I mentioned, because that shows that clearly the consignee is you. It has your name. And then, of course, the logbook will also be in your name. And then we will also register that car in your eCitizen account. Okay. The exception to that is if it is a finance car. Yes. If it is being financed by a bank, by your SACCO, your employer, etc. Then that car cannot come in your name simply because they cannot finance something you already own. So the car will come in our name. And then we will, when the process is done, we will transfer it to you jointly, to you and your financier. Yes. So then at that point, it is your car again.
Maybe for the audience, who are some of the banks you work with?
All the major banks. We work a lot with the Bank of Africa, with NCBA, with Equity Bank, of course, and then an array of SACCOs, different employers. So it depends, again, on who is financing the individual client. But we are happy to work with a wide range of financiers.
All right. KEBS inspection. What exactly is being inspected here?
KEBS, the KEBS inspection, as I mentioned, is mandatory. So there is no car that is going to come into Kenya without that inspection certificate. Okay. So what KEBS is checking, of course, they want to gatekeep. Yes. We do not want just any piece of junk to come into the country. Yes. So first and foremost, they're checking the year of manufacture, because as you know, there's a 7-year limit to what we can import. For example, in 2026, we are importing, the oldest car we can import now is 2019 make. So the first thing they're verifying is that the manufacture year tallies with the 7 years. Then they are also checking the roadworthiness. They are checking the visual of the car, the mechanical and safety. They do mechanical and safety checks. They also do electrical checks. For example, if they walked into the car and there were like lights blinking all over the dashboard, then obviously that car will not pass inspection. Some cars will have really like very poor tread of tires, like almost bald. Such kind of a car will not pass inspection. And that, again, tallies with the grading that Kelvin mentioned. So here at Croton Motors, we ensure that we buy good cars to start with, so that once they're inspected, they will pass with flying colors.
Then, okay, that's good, because when you go to our neighbors, Uganda, Tanzania, some of the cars you see on the road, old vehicles. Old vehicles. So, well, I guess that's important. And if that's what they're inspecting, sounds good. So we are at the,
maybe
yes,
just
yes,
to
Kelvin.
add, so what Sophie is, or maybe what Sophie has mentioned and called the KEBS inspection, I know maybe other people know it as the QISJ inspection.
Quality Inspection Services is a company in Japan.
Japan,
This
yes.
company has been contracted by KEBS to inspect the cars coming to Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's already quality assured while it's still in Japan.
Yes.
And some
Okay.
clients, maybe let's say when you want to verify the mileage, so QISJ have a database. It's actually a website that you can actually log in and verify maybe the mileage of the unit that you want to purchase. So once you key in the chassis number for that particular car, you're able to see an array of information. For example, where the car was inspected at, the genuine mileage that the car left Japan with, and let's say when the car was inspected, the date and the month and the year when the car was actually inspected. So this is information anyone can actually get.
Okay, so what is happening, what QISJ has done there is being confirmed at the port by KEBS. It's pretty much the same thing, it's a confirmation. All right, sounds good. So we're at the dock, okay? We're in Mombasa. Tell me about bottlenecks. What are the things that delay? What are the issues that common issues that your clients face?
Okay.
Or you
to
have
clarify,
faced?
yes. To clarify, we do everything. We do a sort of auction to doorstep service. So we do all the steps on behalf of our clients. In fact, all they have to do is pay and wait.
And follow the WhatsApp group.
Yes. That said, for the most part, I want to say 95%, we have this process down to the T. So we do not anticipate or we do not experience a lot of bottlenecks because we have a very experienced clearing agent who's been doing this for a long time. So as long as all the paperwork is there, we can get your car in and out of the port in 7 to 10 days. That said, one of the bottlenecks I can think of off the top of my mind is the duty payable to KRA. Occasionally, because the day you came to Croton to import a car, we gave you a breakdown of the car, including possible payable duty. And for the most part, that duty is accurate. But occasionally, KRA may change duty payable abruptly without notice, so that it changed while your car was on the way. Yes. So once we learn that the duty has changed, there could be a bit of back and forth between us and KRA as we try to, confirm and, and align with the duty and see whether it can change or whether that's the fixed or something like that. So that back and forth could cost us a few days. So, and at that point, we really just ask for patience from our customers because we also want the best outcome for them. The only other maybe thing I can mention is the plates, the physical plates. Once we register the car at the port and we transport the car here, the physical plates intermittently can take longer than a few days. So, but that is not usually a big problem, but that can also happen.
So does that explain why there's some new cars I see on the road with paper plates? What's that about? What causes people to put paper plates?
Yeah, so like Sophie has mentioned, sometimes we normally have to deal with some challenges. You find that sometimes many people are actually bringing in many cars such that it doesn't align with how it doesn't align with the same speed that the plates are actually being processed. Yeah, so sometimes we have to wait. And because you see, when you import a car, you're excited. Maybe you imported it with a timeline in mind. Maybe that's when you're starting your new job. Yes. So you must start using that car. So for now, in a temporary way, we are just using the paper plates as identity for that particular car. But when we can, we try to push as much as, okay, things to do with the plates, of course, we cannot, yeah, it's beyond us. But where we can, we try to push so that our clients can comfortably have their cars on the road.
But at least, even though it's paper plates, the car is registered.
Yeah, the car is registered and it's also insured, very important.
Okay. So we have cleared the car. How does it get here? And what happens when it gets here?
So first of all, at Croton Motors, we do not drive client cars from Mombasa to our showroom. We car carry them. So the mileage that the car left from Japan should tentatively be the same mileage that you see your car with here in Karen. So the car carrier actually delivers the car up to the showroom where they are actually offloaded. And that's the point where the sales agents at the company normally go to inspect the vehicles just to make sure that they are in the same condition they expected as they bought those vehicles in Japan. So yeah, basically that's it. So we normally go through the car, we make sure that the car is perfect. Then after we are comfortable with the state of the vehicle, the next process is processing it for detailing. By detailing, I mean we normally clean the vehicles properly such that they are in brand new condition.
Okay.
And that's the point now where we invite our clients to come and have a first look of their vehicles.
Perhaps I can add something there. So once the car has come to the showroom, so different clients want different things done on the car. For example, some people would like to tint their car. Other people would like to do riveting and identity. Riveting is putting some kind of screws
Yes.
on any parts that may be plaqued in traffic.
Kenya, yes.
They also write the number plate also on the windscreen
yes.
and the other parts of the car. For Prados especially, we highly recommend locking the tire underneath because that may get stolen very easily.
Yeah.
So all those things are done in-house.
Okay.
So we will have consulted with you, and if you want any of those things done, so they will be done at that point. Also, some cars will come, but the radio will be in Japanese. A lot of people want to remove that radio and put in an English, Android, and Apple Play car.
Yeah.
So we have partnered with reliable
Vendors.
vendors who will do all these things in-house for you.
Some other clients also have their cars here, and now maybe someone feels they want to wrap their cars. So it's a trend that is actually very common nowadays.
Yeah.
So you find that maybe your car came in white and you want to make it orange. You don't have to paint the cars nowadays. You just put in a wrap. We also facilitate that at Croton Motors.
All right. So as we're coming to a close, maybe you can just tell me, for someone importing a car for the first time, what's the single most misunderstood part of the process that causes anxiety? 1 minute.
Majorly, I would say trust. Because you see, like someone has just come, they're just meeting you for the first time. It's a high value transaction. We are talking about millions most of the time. So most of these people, they're wondering, first of all, is my money safe with you guys? Secondly, yes, you've taken me through the auction process and all that. Am I guaranteed that my car will actually come? That's another thing. And maybe some other clients are also worried about the timelines. Because sometimes you may hear other clients complaining, oh, my car, I was told my car will arrive in 2 months. It's now 5 months down the line. So those are majorly the worries that normally clients give out to you as feedback. But then at Croton Motors, we've tried to find ways where we can be able to make the client comfortable. So one of them is what I explained to you. We create a WhatsApp group where the client is updated once every week. So we normally do it preferably on a Monday. Right. You see, you've spent 8 million. You can't stay for 4 weeks wondering, is my car still coming and all that. So we create a WhatsApp group so that now we just keep you updated. Yours is just to look at your phone and say, oh, okay, no challenges or no delays. Okay, my car, I'm still expecting my car on this particular date. So it normally helps with their peace of mind. Also, we normally have, so fortunately we've had clients who've reviewed our services. If you check our reviews on Google, we have clients who've given us their feedback, and some clients will just want to go there and read about other people's experiences so that they may feel at peace to actually proceed with the process.
The weekly communication is very, very important, so that if you have any questions as well as the client, you can ask there, we can answer. We want to just show you, just give you peace of mind, as he said. So, and of course, there's also the paperwork. the 3 documents that I mentioned, the export, the inspection, the bill of lading. So we also give you those documents so that you know that there's a car coming, the car is in my name, so that it reduces any chance of worry.
Great, thank you for all those insights. It's been amazing. But one thing I'd like to ask is, whenever you walk into Crotons, you notice trees, like even this trees here. Is there anything about it? Because I've noticed you guys have a very interesting culture.
That's a good observation. So we love the environment. When you walk around our showroom, it's not just cars, but there's greenery everywhere. We even grow our own lemons. Have you seen them around the corner? So you should check them out.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but more importantly, I think we don't have a choice but to love trees because we are named after a tree. I don't know if you know the Croton tree, Diman.
Yes.
Do you know the Croton tree? Yeah, so tying with that is our CSR. So we don't just sell cars. For every client who buys a car from us, we send you home with 12 indigenous tree seedlings to go and plant. 12, yes. So we have the Croton, of course, we must give the Croton tree. We have the Meru oak, we have the silver oak, we have the African olive.
Nice.
So various indigenous trees. And for people who have nowhere, of course, a lot of people bring them to Shago to plant. But for those clients who have nowhere to plant, we donate those trees on their behalf. We always partner with different schools. Last year, we planted trees at St. Andrew's Turi. We planted trees in, was it Kitui? Yeah. And State House Girls. And Thika. You went somewhere in Thika as well to plant trees. So we partner with different high schools. And we also partner with various golf clubs so that we donate trees so that they can keep their golf clubs looking green. Yes.
Yeah. And maybe just to add on that.
Yeah.
So if you come to our company, you'll notice that we are very intentional about the details. So for example, you see the true balance of life is humans, animals, and plants. And we have all that present here. So if you walk in, you can be able to associate.
Ambiance.
Yes, you're able to associate with all that.
Croton Motors is a very interesting team. These guys go to Japan for team building. Where? Where? People will have to come here and benchmark. Anyways, Kelvin, give us a parting shot. What are our good audience who have been watching all through? What are they taking home with them today?
So majorly, what I can say is the import process is a very interesting and fun journey. It's also educative. If you asked me, if you're not in a rush, I think it's the most value for money way to actually acquire a car in Kenya. Why am I saying that? Because you can actually specify the exact specifications that you want on a car.
Okay.
So you see, once you come and buy what I already have here, you have no choice but to buy what's here.
Okay.
So if you find a high mileage unit, or let's say if something is not aligned with what you like, you have no option. But when you do a direct import, you can actually specify everything to the letter. And once you specify everything and you get that, there's more satisfaction in that.
Okay.
So I would tell people not to be afraid of the import process. All you have to do is identify a dealer that you trust, a dealer who gives you information, and basically just look for someone who is very open-minded and everything is on the table, very straightforward. If you get such a dealer, don't be afraid of the import process.
We don't need to say anything more. Kelvin has already said. Tell the audience what they can get, Kelvin.
Yeah, so for the people who will actually click on the link.
So there's a link coming.
Yeah, so there's a link that will come. If anyone clicks on the link and orders a car through that link, we shall purpose as Croton Motors to do the first service for you, to do identity for you, to do riveting, which are actually important processes when you own a car in Kenya, so that yours is just to pick the car and start life with it without having to worry about these extra services and where to actually get those services from. Yeah, so just come in, click on the link, order a car through us, and we shall be happy to give you a ready car.
There you have it. Please click on the link that you're going to find on the YouTube description. Some of you are manifesting a car in 2026. Receive, get that car, import that car. It's been awesome hanging out with you. As I told you, this was going to be an enlightening session, and many of you have left different. Please, if you have not subscribed to this page, ensure you do it now so you can continue to get more of this interesting content, get to see what Croton Motors is all about, and supporting some different initiatives you have seen. I'm glad that you've stayed all through. My name is Diman, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. Bye for now.